Hey there, you're watching the Jessa Channel on YouTube. I'm Jessa, and today I am here with more Lost Horizon. We are in Welvigsburg Castle, and we are trying to find a crypt in order to get the Piri Reis map. So let's head back in. Okay, the north tower here. A locked door, a crank wheel, so what the heck, let's crank it.
This crank lowers the old chandelier. They must have used it for lighting candles back in the day.
Okay.
Let's see if the crank handle still works.
Oh, that's very interesting. There's a symbol here. And the chandelier sits very conveniently right on top of it. That can't be a mistake.
The chandelier is now lying in the center of the symbol on the floor. It's damn heavy. I ought to use the crank if I want to get it back up. The North Tower Crypt. This is where all the Thule Society's research objects are supposed to be held. I've got to get down there.
Okay, so we need to do something with this crank wheel here to pull the chandelier back up so that we can get a better look at the symbol. Because I have a sneaking suspicion there's a puzzle here.
A round stone slab with some kind of occult symbol. This slab's separate from the rest of the floor. I can see the seam running along the edges. That said, I can't lift it with my bare hands.
Okay, what have we got? A collection of junk. Let's try the axe on it.
I don't think brute force will help me here.
Oh, brute force always works. Except this time.
Let's attack this thing.
You just said brute force wouldn't work.
There. I've drilled a small hole.
Now, I find it very interesting that, of course, no one heard him drilling a hole into a stone floor. But let's see. Steel cable? No. Chandelier? No. Crank wheel? No. I really feel like this steel cable we should be able to use for something. Ah, threaded hook? There we go. So put the hook in. Yes.
I've screwed the hook into the drill hole. It's lodged pretty tight.
All right. And then we're going to attempt to pull up this incredibly heavy stone slab with nothing but a silly... Okay, maybe. Let me do it. Oh, wait. I know. If we lower the crank wheel, like so, now can we kind of tie them together? No. I really want to use this. My brain says logically, this is the answer.
The chandelier is now lying in the center of the symbol.
Yeah, we've already heard that.
It's damn heavy.
No. So if I just raise it, will it pull it up? Has it hooked up already somehow? Let's see.
Fenton, you old dog, you've done it again.
Oh, that's it.
The chandelier is attached to the hook, which is screwed into the slab in the floor. When I turn the crank, the whole thing comes away. Shame there's nobody here to congratulate me.
A secret entrance. I love secret entrances. Oh, boy.
Ah, there's a cable here. Maybe I can climb down on it. Hopefully it'll take my weight. Looks like I'm in the right place, finally. Not that I'm complaining.
What I think we should have done, to be absolutely honest, is we should have just taken our axe and knocked the lock right off the door that was right next to the chandelier kind of thing. And that would have been a whole lot easier than drilling a hole in the floor. But who am I to say, you know? What do I know? Okay. Lectern.
There's a sort of dossier on this podium. I'll just skim it quickly. It outlines the Thule Society's central objectives. According to this, the Society was founded in the early 1920s with the aim of restoring the knowledge of lost civilizations for its own use. The Thule Society's influence extends into the highest echelons of the German Reich. This gives them complete carte blanche on their activities. They can do whatever the hell they like. Seems they launched a project codenamed Vril under the direction of our old friend, Countess von Hagenhild. The focus of this project is the search for Shambhala. The Thule Society believes that a vast store of ancient knowledge is being hoarded there. The source of morphogenetic fields. Morphogenetic fields? Never heard of them. But then it does ring true with what Professor Hayes was talking about, a store of ancient knowledge. If I remember the professor's description correctly, the hunters and herders of Shambhala suddenly developed into a flourishing and highly advanced society. Hayes reckons some sort of mysterious energy was responsible for the tribe's development. Is that what they mean by morphogenetic fields?
Okay.
Must be more of the Thule Society's artifacts and research objects.
I wonder if we can open them.
It could take days to search all these boxes for the Piri-Reis map.
Okay. That's the game designer's way of saying, it's not in the boxes, leave the boxes alone. Lectern number 2.
These documents contain the research results of a scientist by the name of Aldrich von Hagenhild. Must be some relative of the Countess. Von Hagenhild spent his time searching for the world soul. Christ, can't these people just use sensible names? The basis for von Hagenhild's research was the concept that for an organism to develop as it should, there must be some immaterial power steering it in the right direction. Basically, an invisible blueprint determining form and growth. So, why does a rabbit develop the way it does, and why does a pine tree become a pine tree? Who's the architect? What tells them to grow bark? Or fancy lady rabbits? Looks like these questions led von Hagenhild to believe there was some invisible, imperceptible field that controls the development of an organism. He called it morphogenetics. Von Hagenhild explains the holistic aspect of self-organizing systems with his theory of morphogenetic fields. Basically, the field stores forms or behavioral patterns that every member of a species draws from and adds to. This was his Western take on something the East had known for some time. In Far Eastern philosophy, people refer to his morphogenetic fields as the divine essence of nature, or as the soul. He thought he'd identified the soul. He didn't think the soul was a spiritual thing. He thought it was a fundamental principle of nature that had been warped and confused by religions the world over. He even thought he had proof. He refers to certain experiments he carried out. Ugh, this is a lot of information to take in. Von Hagenhild really believed that in these morphogenetic fields, he'd identified the soul, the central power behind all living things.
Dude, that is so deep. Okay. Now take a deep breath, everyone. We're going to go to lectern number 3 because it's just going to get wackier.
These documents refer to several experiments which are supposed to prove the existence of morphogenetic fields. Von Hagenhild wanted to prove that every species obtains its entire being, its form, its instincts, from these fields, like some kind of collective memory. These inherited memories control not just the form, but also the behavior, the capabilities, and the knowledge of the relevant species. He called it a group soul. Experiment number 1. The rat experiment. The experiment investigated the capability of rats to find their way through a maze. At the beginning of the experiment, the rats needed 165 attempts before they could get through the maze without a mistake. But a few rat generations later, the number of attempts had dropped to 20. Conclusion. The first batch of rats learned how to navigate the maze, and this instinct was somehow added to the rat's group soul. When later rats navigated the maze, they somehow had access to this ancestral memory, even if the rats weren't directly related. Experiment number 2. The ape experiment. 2 ape colonies of the same species were isolated and observed on 2 small islands in the Indian Ocean. Von Hagenhild's team taught the apes on one island a few new behavioral patterns. The other colony was left undisturbed and uninfluenced, so while the apes on the first island are learning how to open tins and the like, the others are eating bananas. Several months later, the apes on the undisturbed island began displaying these new skills, even though they'd never come into contact with the other colony. Von Hagenhild's conclusion: all members of a species are connected by morphogenetic fields. They share a subconscious collective memory. He thought this theory could explain a lot. Animals' sense for impending danger, telepathy, sixth sense in humans. Von Hagenhild also concludes that members of a group can learn something new at a far quicker pace when the vast majority of members of that same group have already acquired the knowledge. These fields are basically stores of information that are effective across space, and in rare cases, even time. Von Hagenhild presumes this would go some way towards explaining premonitions. Human beings sporadically accessing morphogenetic fields from varying points in the future. It all sounds very far-fetched, but then it does explain a lot. Supposing morphogenetic fields really exist, they'd be the answer to problems science has been trying to solve for centuries. And if all these fields add up, if there's some kind of central repository of all this information, Christ, it'd basically be the scientific definition of God. I'm beginning to understand why the Thule Society's quite so interested. And if there's even the slightest chance it's all true, why they need to be stopped.
One thing I don't understand is the Thule Society wants to get, connection to this morphogenetic fields. But I don't know what they could do with them. I don't know if you could manipulate them or somehow how they could wreak havoc or trouble with them. So I'll be interested to see how that part of the story unfolds. We now have the last lectern here, and I think what he's talking about is something that I've heard of called over the years, called basically collective unconscious, which of course there's no proof for, and it's not a scientific term by any means. But it's interesting that the game is going down this direction. Let's look at the last lectern.
Is this the Piri Reis map? It's hand-drawn, ancient. There are some notes next to it. Finally, von Hagenhild became convinced that there must be a type of definitive field from which all other fields are derived. All manifestations have an origin. He tried to back this up with historical evidence. A world soul, for instance, had been proposed by Plato over 2,000 years ago. But what really convinced him was the discovery of an old, mysterious map of the world, drawn by the Ottoman general Piri Reis. I knew it! It's the map! Let's see. Further on in the text, von Hagenhild discovered that the general had drawn up the map in the 16th century, using sources which were thousands of years old. But how could they have known at that time what the world looked like? He posed the theory that a civilization had existed then, which possessed extraordinary knowledge and skill. He discovered a marking on the map, which was written in an unfamiliar language. Research in Far Eastern libraries revealed it was a long-forgotten Tibetan script. Once translated, it claimed the marking indicated the source of all knowledge, the center of the morphogenetic fields. It was a hidden valley in the Himalayas, Shambhala. Shortly before he died in 1934, von Hagenhild passed the responsibility of continuing the research onto his daughter. Professor Hayes was right. About everything. The Thule Society arrived at the exact same conclusion as he did. They were just one step ahead. Lucky I'm one step more. Richard used the first key to pass through the gate in that secret room in the monastery. I just need to find the second. The Nazis can't enter Shambhala without it. And, as it happens, I have the eye. And I have the map. I just need to use them to find the location of the second key. My last hope of finding Richard is based on an ancient legend. Great. It's time to cross everything I've got. And I mean everything.
Time to cross everything you've got and see if we can't get that map out of there.
The documents are under lock and key behind a thick sheet of glass.
Oh, that doesn't bother us. Let's beat the crap out of it.
Not a good idea. I might trigger an alarm.
Oh, I'll tell you. Always ruining my fun. Let's see if we can kind of use the drill on it.
Not a good idea.
No. Okay. So... I don't know why we never got to use the steel cable. We didn't use it at all. Interesting. It was a dummy cable. We have the Eye of the Dragon. I don't know how that could help us, but let's see. Cool.
Fingers crossed. I've come all this way, but I'm still a little surprised it actually worked. The Piri Reis map really is the map of the Guardians of Shambhala. Or at least it was drawn to their specifications, so Professor Hayes was also right in thinking the priests of Shambhala took the second key artifact to India and hid it in a temple there. And now I know exactly where to look. On the Kathiawar Peninsula, just north of Bombay. Thinking about it, I actually know the commander of the British regiment in Rajkot. If the old drunkard hasn't been transferred for disciplinary reasons again, I'm sure he'll lend me a hand. Or at least a decent bottle. Then I'll just have to find the temple and get hold of the key artifact. What
Simple.
could be simpler?
Nothing. Nothing could be simpler. And for the man who couldn't find a coin for the sweets, he has now chartered a plane to Istanbul and another plane to Baghdad. Another plane to Karachi and Bombay. And we're now here in Kathiawar. Chapter 6, The Eye of the Tiger. We are now in India.
Looks like the road ends here. This village is supposed to be the last settlement. Other than that, there's nothing but thick jungle in every direction. The commander of the local troops led me this far. But now I need to quiz a local about the temple. I have no idea where it is. Hello? Hello? Jesus, where is everyone? Looks like this place was abandoned pretty recently. Hello? Is anybody there?
The Nazis can't have been here already. Can they? Damn it.
Oh,
I'll have
goodness.
to find the temple on my own.
Those Nazis. Darn those Nazis. We're going to have to find the temple. Oh, there's blood on the ground. Oh. And oh no, chicken feathers. Did somebody kill a chicken over here? Let's find out.
Feathers, blood. It's clear what happened here. Some huge winged monster had a nosebleed. Or a chicken got eaten. One of the two.
Okay. Can we pick up these chicken feathers?
A man can never have enough feathers.
I don't think that's ever been said in an adventure game ever. Bamboo pole?
A bamboo pole. Why is it every time I see one of these things, I feel like something ridiculous is about to happen?
Let's see if something ridiculous happens.
I'll take that cloth with me too.
Yay, we now have, with the bamboo pole and the cloth, we have a white surrender thingy-majiggy. Bundle of reeds.
There are some reeds lying here. Looks like the villagers use them to thatch their huts.
Okay, we now have a bundle of reeds. Let's see what else there is to grab at here.
It's a tree. It's a big tree. There are leaves on it? I don't know.
Fenton.
I loved climbing trees
Oh,
when I was a
Fenton.
boy. The taller, the better. Nowadays, I tend to only do it when I have to. Like when I'm being chased. or when I'm bored.
Okay, I think there's enough stuff on this screen that we may need to... Once I go over here, I have a feeling there's more stuff over here. Okay, so we have the bundle of reeds, we have the bloodstains we've already looked at. Let's look at the fire pit.
There are some chopped logs lying in the fireplace. Not much going on.
Okay, I think I see white fur. Is that a doggy under there? Hiding?
What is that?
Oh.
It's a small goat. It appears to be hiding underneath the hut. Well, no, it's definitely hiding underneath the hut. I can see it from here.
Oh, hey, what's up, baby goat? Are you okay?
All this military training, and now I realize I never learned how to coax a goat out of hiding.
Bah! Bah!
It's gone further underneath the hut.
I apologize for that if you happen to see a big blue box come up on the screen. My game minimized. So, okay. Pot shards. Let's see if we can get that goat out, but let's see what else there is to see. A bundle of reeds, chicken feathers. What do goats eat? Don't know. I think they eat a lot of things. There are some goats that sometimes visit a house down the street that we have that's nearby. And I walked by to pet the goats, and I had a bag of groceries in one arm, and the goats came over very happily and then completely ripped my bag of groceries apart and chewed on the grocery bag. So I happen to know that goats eat grocery bags.
A few shards of pottery.
We also have a clay jug.
There's a broken jug lying here.
And a basket. Let's see if there's anything else. Nope. Okay, we have picked up all the things we can pick up, so perhaps we can see about combining things again. Somehow I was thinking I could, like, I don't know, stick the cloth under there. Nothing is combining up here.
The basket's already broken, so I might as well finish cutting it up. I've dismembered the entire thing. All that's left are these thin sticks of wood and the hemp stitching. Oh, and these 2 black stones that were inside.
We now have smooth stones, stitching, thin wooden sticks, pot shards, bundle of reeds, cloth, bamboo pole.
I can tie one of the pottery shards to one of the sticks.
Okay. Oh, stick with arrowhead. Cool.
A sharp pottery shard on a thin wooden stick.
Okay.
A sharp pottery shard.
Sorry about that. That's what happens when you just start combining things.
I could make myself a blowgun, but I doubt this dart will fly straight, and even if by some chance it did manage to hit something, that something would probably, somehow, end up being me.
Okay, so ixnay on the blow dart, eh? I still feel like this pole should be more useful than it is. Can you blow chicken feathers out of the pole? Okay. Broken clay jug isn't really nothing. Okay, so what could I use on the goat? No. I might not be able to get the goat out, but I'm certainly not going to use that. No, don't do that. If that actually worked, I would have been pissed. I don't want to throw stones at it. A cloth, maybe? I'm guessing that I can't get the goat out and I have to just leave the poor little baby alone. But I want to save the goat! Okay, well, there's nothing much else I can do here. We can leave the village this way.
I'll just take a short wander into the jungle. Maybe the villagers are out foraging or whatever it is villagers do.
Hey, you there! Where do you think you are going?
Christ! You frightened the life out of me! What the hell are you doing hiding in there?
Get away from the edge of the jungle. Come here!
What's wrong?
Don't ask, just do what I say.
Have I done something wrong? Sorry, I didn't mean to sneak around. I just wasn't sure where everyone had got to.
There's a man-eater about.
A what?
Doesn't anything strike you as strange around here?
Well, yes.
He came into the village last night while we were sleeping.
Who?
The man-eater. Listen to me. The beast is still out there. I can feel it in my bones.
And you're the only survivor?
No, during these months, only women, children, and old people live in the village. The young men work on the tea plantations. When he came, there was no one here to protect us. Those who could walk packed their things and left this morning.
What sort of animal are we talking about here? I'm, something of an expert.
A tiger, what else?
A tiger?
It was no normal tiger, it was a man-eater. Tigers normally avoid settlements. They hunt in the jungle. But now and again, a few of the particularly hungry ones stray into the villages. I remember the old stories from my childhood. When a man-eater has picked out a village, he stalks it for days until he can strike again.
When you put it like that, it does sound kind of scary. But I have a very important task, and I'm looking for someone who can help me.
What brings you here, stranger?
I'm looking for an old monastery. Or a temple. Do you know anywhere around here that fits the description?
As a matter of fact, there is an old temple nearby.
Great. How do I get there? Could you show me?
You may have no instinct for survival, stranger, but I wish to retain what is left of my life. I cannot leave the village until the man-eater is dealt with.
Okay. Tell you what. I'll have a look around and think of something. If I deal with the tiger, will you lead me to the temple?
Take my word for it, stranger.
Great. It's a deal.
Be careful out there.
So I know that it is an absolute necessity in order for us to play the game, but it is very odd that a man, in a hut automatically knows how to speak English. There is no other way. Maybe it would be nice if, I don't know, maybe there would be some sort of translator or something with, but then that would have been too much fuss and bother. Okay, so let's go tiger hunting.
There's thick jungle in every direction, save for a small trail leading southwest.
This is a word that I'm going to try not to murder here. Baharanagam. Baharanaganam. Let me know if that is even remotely correct. And the Mani Mala River. Wow. So someone told me that the maps in the game, or at least the one for Berlin, was correct. Someone who lives in Berlin left a comment on the video. That was pretty cool. Let's head to the unknown destination. I'd like to know what this says down here. It's really cool, but I don't know. Anyway.
I'll follow the path leading out of the village so I don't get lost. Let's see where it leads to.
It leads to death
What is
and
that sound. Christ, there really is a tiger out there. I never knew they sounded like that. Thinking about it, I'm not a vet, but this guy might be injured. No doubt he'd still eat me given half a chance. I should stay out of his way.
Oh, poor tiger. I do happen to know that lions, my brother, who lives in Chicago, used to live across the street. Literally across the street from the zoo in Chicago. So I stayed with him once there, and the lions roaring were so loud that it woke me up out of a dead sleep in the middle of the night. They are very, very loud. So anyway, that's all I happen to know about what lions sound like. Maybe tigers are also as loud. We have some mushrooms here.
A clump of wild mushrooms.
Let's grab those.
I don't know anything about mushrooms, but that's no reason not to pick them. If they taste foul, I can just throw them away.
That's really not good reasoning, to be honest, Fenton. If they're poisonous, you wouldn't get a chance to throw them away. There's a plane stuck in this tree.
I've seen a worryingly large number of plane wrecks in the last week. At least this one wasn't my fault. As far as I know. The tiger's still back there. I probably shouldn't do anything to attract his attention. That includes climbing trees.
Well, you might need to climb that tree if he decides that it's time to eat.
That's the man-eating tiger I'm supposed to be dealing with. It sounds like it's in pain.
Oh, poor guy. I know. I'm such an animal person. I'm like, feeling sorry for this poor tiger here. There's some herbs here.
Salad. All that's missing is a thick, juicy, medium-rare ribeye and some chips. Hold the salad.
Don't need any salad ruining a man's meal. Okay, what else have we got here? We have tiger, swamp, tree, plain.
Ugh. Leeches, dysentery, mud. Not very enticing.
Speaking of leeches, I'm wondering why this poor tiger would want to sit in the water there. Maybe the leeches are like sucking on his wound or something, keeping it clean. Who knows? We are back to the path and then back to the village. We have some herbs. Let's ask the... Oh, we can't. See what he has to say, if anything.
Hello?
Yes? Any luck in hunting the tiger?
We have some herbs.
Yes, I saw the tiger. You're right. He's still lurking about.
Told you so.
I think I know why it came into the village last night as well. He looks injured. He's out in the swamp making sad noises. Would that explain why he's acting so aggressively?
Quite possibly. But regardless, I am staying in my hut. And don't go getting any wild ideas yourself.
But I promised to help.
As you please. Is there anything else?
Okay, strange mushrooms. Let's ask about those.
I found these mushrooms in the jungle. Are they edible?
I would only eat them if you have sleeping problems. These mushrooms contain a natural sedative. We use them to treat minor injuries. But I have heard of a Brahmin who performs operations on injured animals and sedates them with the poison from these mushrooms during the operations.
Interesting. So you just chuck them down the creature's throat?
No, the sedative must get into the bloodstream. The mushrooms are cooked and the juice that escapes is then injected. It requires a bit of experience to get the dosage right. Too much of the stuff could knock out a huge water buffalo, never mind a small pet.
No problem. Caution is my middle name.
Okay. 2 black stones. We want to know if they're valuable. Probably not. Or they wouldn't be laying around like that. But we may be able to find some use for them.
I found these stones in the village square. I don't suppose they're, valuable by any chance?
No. These are flint stones. Keep them by all means.
Oh, well, thanks anyway.
Okay. I think that's all we can
I'll
say.
see what I can do.
Good luck.
We now in our inventory have sedative mushrooms, flint stones, which we can use to make a fire. We might have some reed here. There's a fire pit. He said that it needed to be cooked, so we have a broken clay jug to put the, yeah. I think we should be able to do some, pharmaceutical, work here to do some tiger saving. And we will do that in the next episode. I want to thank you so much for watching and for joining me today when we were playing Lost Horizon. We are now in India in the deep jungle swamp, and we're very close to Shambhala, so I have a feeling that we may have... This might be the last chapter? No. We might have one more chapter to go. I don't know. Maybe this is the last chapter? But we'll see. But the adventure is going along swimmingly. Let me know what you are thinking of the game in the comments below. If you bought this game as well too, this game is available. By the way, there are links in the description. The game is available on Amazon.com as a digital download. So, I think it might be available on Steam. I do not remember, but let me know if it is in the comments below. If you enjoyed what you saw today, please hit the thumbs up button below. And if you loved what you saw, join the party and subscribe. I'll see you back here in India in the next episode. As always, thank you so much for watching. Get every new Jessa Channel video right in your email inbox. Subscribe, then from your YouTube homepage, click Manage Subscriptions, then check Email with new uploads. And thanks for watching.